And you got one from right here?
Yes, sir.
Morning.
Morning. How has it been at the meetings?
Good. Yeah, good.
How has your time been since Super Bowl?
Yeah, busy.
So did you have any indication going into the offseason that it was likely Gronkowski was going to retire?
Yeah, off-season's off-season, so.
So you were not necessarily planning for
When he's sort of deciding whether to play, how much did that affect like your ability to build the team, not knowing whether he was part of it, you know?
Yeah. And that element occurs every off-season.
Was there much back and forth with Bill with him or his representatives in terms of maybe you obviously thought about it for a while. Was there anything the team maybe could have done to try to entice him to come back?
Yeah, I already made my comments on Rob. Honestly, I don't have anything to add.
So just continuing to build your roster. I know you've said in the past in off seasons, I think it's more closer to the draft, but there are times where the team feels like you could put together a pretty competitive team, pretty competitive roster, even going into the draft. Do you feel like you're at that point right now, or do you feel like there's still some building you would like to do before you get to that point later in April?
Yeah, I don't know. Just take it day by day.
Was walking around the breakfast and noticed Brian next to you and Bill O'Brien over there and Matt Patricia and Mike Vrabel, and just like seeing the people that have really grown up in professional football around you branch out. I was curious like how that, if you've noticed that's created a challenge like in terms of player acquisition, because they often are looking for similar type, you know, maybe put same value on traits that you might with players.
Yeah, well, it's a really competitive league. I mean, there's 31 great coaches in this room, so I respect all of them.
Coach, one of those guys in that room is Cliff Kingsbury. Did you ever get a sense back in 2003 that coaching might be in his future?
Yeah, he did some things on it for us when he was on injured reserve that year.
Anything stand out on that season that would lead him to now?
Yeah, no, he does a great job. He's a smart guy, works hard. He has a great background in football.
Bill, some people have described the 4th and 15 proposal as gimmicky. Do you think that's something that would be good for the game?
Yeah, we'll talk about all the rules and proposals here again this morning. We'll see what everybody has to say. I don't know.
I don't think you guys attempted an outside kick last year. I don't know if you ever were even in a situation where you would have tried it, but was the understanding that it was just a harder play to try to execute with the rules having changed the way they have?
Yeah, well, the rules are what the rules are, so.
Did that ever impact any sort of decision? Like I said, I can't really recall when you might have tried to do it. Did that ever impact any decision?
The formation's different, so.
You acquired Michael Bennett this offseason. What do you like about Bennett?
I think it'll help our team. How so? Well, we'll see. Get out there and practice and put everybody out there and see how it goes.
Has Coach Yano been helping through the draft process? We saw you together at the combine.
Yeah. Good, we're all doing things here in the spring, and so everybody's got stuff to do.
Did you have your staff updated?
Pardon?
Do you have your coaching staff updated?
Yeah, I don't have any update now. No.
We have to fill so many coaches leaving. Is there a balance between trying to give opportunities to young coaches who put their time in and also hiring from the outside, guys who have more experience?
Try to put the best staff, best team we can. That's what we always do.
What type of challenge happens when you have coaching turnover, or is it a challenge?
Look, every year is a challenge in the National Football League.
Hey, Bill, how you doing?
That's it.
All right. So are the rules proposals the one with the onside kick and giving it the opportunity to go 4th and 15? What are your thoughts about the
I'm sure we'll discuss it today in the meeting, so hear what everybody has to say.
What's your sense, though? I mean, do you feel like
Hear what
it's
everybody has to say.
attractive?
Yeah.
You used to say before the extra point was moved back that the extra point had become a non-competitive play. Do you feel like with the rule changes of kickoffs over the past year, the current onside kick is a non-competitive play, sort of in the other direction because it's so hard to recover?
Yeah, they're two totally different plays.
No, I understand that, but do you see? Do you agree with the logic? I mean, with the rules as they're currently constituted, it's almost non-competitive because it favors one side or the receiving team so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to consider. So just listen to all what different points of view and see what everybody has to say.
Bill, this week, as these meetings with the coaches' involvements in the discussions about the rules, has it been more involved, more passionate than you've seen in a while with the coaches?
I thought we had a great meeting yesterday. Sean and Mike did a great job of presenting different aspects of replay and the officials' duties and so forth. And it's really an honor to be in that room with all those great coaches. And there are a lot of great observations and ideas put out there to make the game better. And I think Mike and Sean, did an excellent job of making all of us aware of what some of the considerations were. It's complicated. So we'll see what happens. I don't know.
Do you feel more momentum for the idea of having replay cover all plays? I know that the Patriots and you have proposed that before, but it seems like other teams have stepped up and proposed pretty similar to what you did in the past. Is that a good indication of where it could be headed?
Yeah, I don't know. You have to talk to the other teams about where they are. I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah.
That's Mike Tomlin, right? When you talk about Sean and Mike, is that Mike Tomlin?
Yeah.
When it comes to Bennett, you and some of the other coaches were really complimentary of him before the Super Bowl in 14. I know that's a long time ago, but does his skill set sort of is he still sort of having the same impact on games, and is he the same player, or has his style of play changed because it's several years since then?
Yeah, we'll see. He hadn't been in our system before, so we'll see how it goes.
Are you planning to have Josh Gordon in 2019? Is that part of the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. His status isn't under our control.
Bill, what made Matt LaCossa a worthwhile pursuit as a free agent?
Wanted to have him on our team. So we'll see how it goes.
What'd you see from him on film?
We think he'd be competitive.
Just out of curiosity on him, did that preseason finale against the Giants in 17, I think he was productive in that game. Was that a factor in which he maybe popped up on your radar more than maybe he had in the past?
I don't know.
when you think about Brian Flores and kind of how he developed to the point he is now, where he's a head coach, how can you just characterize his rise and what impressed you along the way in his development?
Yeah, he did a great job for me. I mean, I'm on the record a lot without him, and I have a ton of respect for him. So, I mean, all that's out there. Nothing's changed.
What did Trey Flowers mean to your defense, and how will you guys have to adjust? He's obviously played a lot of snaps for you now that he's in Detroit.
Yeah, Trey's a great player, and got a great opportunity in Detroit. So, it's free agency.
How was Isaiah Wynn's recovery going?
We haven't done anything. We haven't, done anything since the beginning of February. Soon we get out there.
Bill, did you have much input that you offered during some of the meetings on some of the rules changes? The 4th and 15 primarily as a change to offset the onside kick.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes today. I'm sure there'll be a lot of discussion about that. Hear from everybody and see what the thoughts are.
Do you like that proposal at all?
Listen to what the thoughts are on the rule.
For you personally, in terms of that play, I mean, the onside kick, as you did with the extra point, it became almost elementary that they were going to make a kick. The same thing with the onside kick, the way they tweaked the rules. This seems like maybe a good way to kind of split the baby and come up with a solution. To me. You like it?
We'll listen and hear what everybody has to say today. I don't know.
What have you seen from Mike Pence? Obviously, you saw him quite a bit over the last few years.
I think it'll be competitive.
Stephen Gostkowski, is there any advancement in terms of bringing him back at this point?
He's not under contract right now.
Would you like him back?
Well, again, he's not back until the person's under contract, so we'll see what happens.
You've been on record quite a bit saying how lucky you've been to have Adam and then transitioning to Steven. How difficult a transition would that be if Steven were to remain not under contract with you guys?
All hypothetical questions. I don't really know the answer to any of those, Phil. So,
Is that a transition you might have to prepare for now, given that he's not under contract?
it's March. See how it goes.
Bill, you've got last year's secondary returning, presumably. How much value did that group give you last year? You got most of last year's secondary returning. How much value did they give you last season? That group?
Did a great job, yeah. Group performed well.
Why would you like to see every play reviewable?
We don't have any proposals on the table. So we'll listen to what the proposals are and
Just in general, why is that a preference?
yeah, again, we don't have any proposals on the table this year. So there are several out there, and we'll see how it all goes. I think it's a good discussion.
Bringing back John Simon, do you see similarities between him, his situation, and maybe Rob Ninkovich, just sort of the way they both came to the team, and then what they brought to the team?
two different players.
What did you like about what Simon did for you last year?
Did a good job for us.
What do you think he brought to the team in terms of, what brought him in week 3 or 4, and then seemed like he was playing quite a bit by the end, really right away, actually.
It varied from game to game, but John works hard. He's a tough kid, so see how it goes.
How do you feel about the depth at the receiver spot at the moment? And how challenging can it be for new guys, whether they're veterans or rookies, to come in and pick up everything you guys do offensively?
It depends on the player. I don't know.
How do you feel about the as it stands right now?
There are no games right now.
How do you feel about this upcoming draft class?
A lot of underclassmen. We got a lot of work to do.
Bringing back Brandon Bolden, signing Terrence Brooks, was improving the coverage units a focal point for you guys this offseason?
I think both those players will help our team, so see what their roles are.
Are you hopeful to get an extension done with Tom Brady that'll keep him here past 2019?
Yeah, I'm not going to get any contract discussions. We never do that, so I'm going to start doing that now. Maybe.
Last summer.
Young player wasn't able to participate at times, end up on IR.
Say his strong suit would be in the blocking game, both blocking tight end.
I think he can do several things, but we'll see. I don't know. Get an opportunity to do them this year. Evaluate him then.
Do you view Philip Dorsett as someone who could potentially take a pretty big step forward in his third season with you guys?
Yeah, again, everybody's going to have an opportunity, so how those go, what happens to them, I can't control.
Do you think he made the most of the opportunities that he was given last year?
I mean, Phil's got good skill. He's a talented player, and he's made a lot of big plays for us.
There is turnover built offensively. I mean, there is this off season for you guys. How much confidence do you have in just knowing that you have Josh McDaniels and understanding that he'll be able to kind of make the most of whatever it is that he has personnel-wise to work with?
Josh does a great job, so he's a good coach.
In the statement on Rob Gronkowski, I think one of the things he mentioned was like most complete. Like he was very, the way he blocked, the way he caught the ball. How rare is it to find those complete tight ends just in today's game coming out of college, even in the NFL?
Yeah, well, Rob's, I think my comments on Rob speak for themselves, so it's pretty special in every category.
What challenges do the increased number of underclassmen in this draft class and over the recent years pose as an evaluator?
Just get a later start on them. Just later start in the process. Don't play any all-star games.
There are the number of underclassmen that there are, this year, and it feels like it grows every year in the draft. how important is it to see those players play against top competition in the snaps that they do have collegiately?
Yeah. That's what you try to look at. There's just fewer of them, but same for every team, so it's not. It is what it is.
Did you have a chance to see Cliff Kingsbury and speak with him at all? Do you have a connection with him from him playing with you?
We drafted him.
Did you see any qualities back then that thought maybe he might be a
Yeah, I think I've spoken about that. Yeah. He's a smart guy. He's got a good football mentality. We've had a good relationship ever since he came into the NFL and through college at Arizona.
We were talking a little bit about Michael Bennett before, and just thinking about the defenses that he's played in. Have you seen him play in some of the techniques in those defenses that he might project to play in yours? And only because, from my view, it looks like they're different. They're considerably different. But maybe I don't know.
There's some differences. Maybe there's some similarities. I don't know. See what happens when we get on the field and start practicing.
Does he seem open to whatever differences there might be from previous systems he's played into yours?
Look, Mike's a good football player. I think he has a good understanding of football. So I think it helps.
Bill, over the course of time, what did Jack Easterby bring to your team since he's been with you since 13 or 14, 13?
Jack's done a great job for us on a lot of levels. So.
Is it a position that you replace in, or was his role unique in that he filled a position that's not necessarily going to be directly filled when he leaves? It seemed like a unique spot anyway.
There's some unique aspects to it. There are some unique aspects to it.
Which were?
Unique.
Is that a role that players could potentially help fill?
Jack wasn't a player.
Right. I'm just, somebody like Matthew Slater stands out as somebody who might be able to do some of the things that Jack did while he was with the team.
Yeah. I don't know.
45 years in the NFL, and you talked about that it was an honor to be in the room, just sort of discussing on ways to make the game better. Like, what does it mean to you to have 45 years in a game in this league? Trying to.
It's a privilege every year.
Matter to you one way or the other when you play your first game? They announced yesterday that you guys would not be playing that Thursday night, you'd be playing Sunday night instead. Do you have any reaction to that?
Try to be ready to go whenever the games are scheduled.
Is there any validity on that it might make it easier for you on the waiver period when you're not playing the Thursday opener? I know you always mention it's a lot of balls in the air at that time, but with the extra days, does that ease that crunch a little bit for you, or is that maybe overanalyzing?
Some advantages to playing on Thursday, some advantages to playing on Sunday. In the end, we're all going to play the same number of games over the same time frame. So.
With the handful of last year's rookies that got hurt and weren't playing, what do you look for when you get them back? just to see that they.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the question.
When with the group of last year's rookies that ended the season on IR or missed the year, what do you look for when you do get back with them to tell you that they still used that time productively and, have made at least some progress? Obviously not as much as they would get from playing, but use that time constructively.
Those guys have been working every day, so they've gotten better. They'll continue to get better if they continue to work, which I hope they will. See where they are.
What did you like about Braxton Berrios coming out of college, and what did you see from him, last year in his first offseason with your team?
I didn't see a lot. He didn't have a lot of opportunity to participate. But see what happens this year. It's a new year, and Braxton's work hard. I'm sure he'll give it his best effort. That's all you can ask for.
You say you have some work to do still, especially because of the underclassmen. What is your overall view of what you've seen in the wide receiver class for this draft?
I still have a lot of work to do.
Pro day schedule, or are you starting to focus on bringing guys to your building in terms of getting to know them a little bit better that way?
Yeah, it's going to transition into that. Pro days are winding down, and visit days will start.
Any coming up that you'll be attending pro days?
When you have coaches that are taking on a new position or moved into a new role, how important is this time of year for them to become fully prepared to, hit the ground running?
Well, all season's an important time of year for the coaching staff, period, to review the previous year and prepare for the upcoming season. So it's an important time for all of us. Every year is a different year. So it's a good opportunity for us to do that.
Pop up at some of the pro days like Georgia and Alabama. I'm curious, just when you go there, how different is that than when you go to a smaller school where there might not be as many players? Like, do you have to do the whole team when you're at like Alabama and Georgia versus you go to a smaller school? It's a much more limited snapshot.
Well, we look at all the players that participate in the workout, which not all of them participate in the workout. And those particular ones. So the ones that do, we look at. The ones that don't, we don't.
Bill, would you have any interest in bringing back Adrian Claiborne?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to talk about any players that aren't currently on our team.
You got the coffee? It's awful. I just had a sip of this coffee. Have you had it?
Good on the coffee, Tom.
What are your thoughts on Adam staying in the division, and is there anything about how he kind of approaches things that is particularly challenging for you?
Yeah, very challenging. He's a good coach. Does a great job. His teams are well coached. They has good game plan schemes. So I have a lot of respect for Adam.
Coaching defense in today's NFL, it's obviously a lot different from when you started and probably even 10 years ago. How would you sort of describe how it has changed, let's say, within the last 10 years. I was thinking about, or even like I was thinking about Vince and, well, not Vince, Ty Warren, like 2003. Like, would be a different value maybe to a player like that in today's defense than maybe back then. You know,
I think those players would.
Yeah, he's a bad example.
I think those players would play in any defense in any era. Look, there are different trends in the league, and they change week to week.
Terrible. Worded that awful. But I guess what I was trying to ask is, like, has it become more like positionless in a sense, like where guys who can do multiple things, defensive end, outside linebacker, off the line, on the line, that's actually become more valuable because of the way it's gone, or maybe that's always been.
A lot of different defensive systems, and some do certain things, others do other things. So I think that there's variation there from team to team, system to system.
To have any play up for challenge?
We don't have any proposals on the table this year.
You have in the past, correct?
We don't have any now.
Right. But the idea is you would like an expansion of replay to include many more calls. Or do you feel like it's maybe headed in the direction, at least adding pass interference, if it passes, is at least a step in the right direction in your mind?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion about that, a lot of great discussion. I'm sure there'll be some more today, so we'll see what those thoughts are.
The competition committee agreed to put forth a proposal to include non-calls on pass interference, offensive and defensive, which would address that play in the NFC Championship game. Are you in favor of that?
Okay, we had a lot of discussion about that yesterday, and we'll see what. I know Sean and Mike met with the competition committee last night. We'll see what the proposals are that come back. Let's have to see how it goes.
A lot of discussion about rules changes. Do you ever use this week to meet with other coaches or GMs to potentially talk about deals that you guys could make as as everybody's building their rosters this time of year?
It's happened, yeah. I wouldn't say it's like there's an agenda.
What is the greatest value to you of these few days in the annual meetings?
Like I said, I thought yesterday's discussion about the rules amongst the coaches was, I learned a lot. There's a lot of insight. So things like that, it's great. It's really the only time of year you have that opportunity. So a lot of great thoughts and other great coaches in the league that have a different experiences, and it's very enlightening to hear those.
As the season progressed, you had a conversation with Rob Gronkowski. It's a hypothetical. And he said,
see if we can get something with a little substance to it. Yeah.
In hearing you talk just about the other coaches' ideas in the league, it's clear you have a great appreciation and passion for it, being that you're in your 45th year. I'm curious, what is the process you go through after every year, just in terms of, is it like a player where you've talked about take a little time away, recharge, to come back again, or are you pretty much, I'm back? for you. You put a lot
Yeah, the 2019 season's begun. So
You got another 45 in you?
probably not.
To Tom's point, though, Drew Rosenhaus has said he could envision a scenario in which Rob does want to come back and play. Is that something we just have to keep in the back of your mind and keep communication open with Rob and Drew?
Not dealing in hypothetical questions.
Would it be difficult for any player to not take part in the off-season program and halfway through the season be able to come back? Would that be a big challenge?
I think we've covered all that. Next.
You like Andy Reid's Hawaiian shirt yesterday? Right in the middle there?
It's always got one.
Is there anything you want to get off your chest?
Good. We got it all covered.
I'm almost feeling like diminishing returns, so I'm going to see what Brian has to say.
Great.
Bill, what did you see from Maurice Harris last season on tape? And I guess just what are your expectations? But what was it about him that you wanted to bring him in?
I'd like to work with him.
A guy like Bruce Ellington, does his experience at a place like Houston sort of help or give you an idea how he could fit with your team?
Yeah, he's got plenty of plays on tape. The players in our system and see how they do. I don't know. See how it goes.
There's been so much turnover among coaches in recent years even, and it's gotten progressively more crazy in terms of lifespan of coaches. Having been in one spot for a long time, is it an advantage for you that there is so much churning because people have to get used to different things and you're still, kind of rolling along?
I don't really worry about what happens to the other 31 teams. I'm just trying to do a good job for our team. We got a lot of work to do. So that's really what I'm focused on.
Player the Raiders getting in Trent Brown. Obviously, had a lot of success last year with you guys.
Yeah, talk a lot about Trent. He's obviously a very talented player. So he did a great job for us.
I've been asking you this for 10 years, but how long do you
string going?
how long do you envision yourself coaching for?
So try to do a good job here.
Could you have foreseen at any point in your life, say 20 years ago or beyond or back, that you would have had this kind of longevity as an NFL head coach?
Just try to think about day to day, year to year. I can't. 45 years ago, I wasn't thinking about what was going to happen in 45 years, or 20 years ago. I was thinking about what was going to happen in 1999 or 1989 or whatever the year was. Like, that's what it was. Not as well planned out as you are, Bob.
At the same time, Bill, is it fair, like at one point maybe you had in your mind, like, I can't envision myself going to a certain point, but as time progresses, you might be like, well, no, I'm not going to put a cap. Why would I ever put a cap on it? Like, is that a fair thought?
I'm just going to skip all the questions about me, my future, and everything else. We want to talk about the football team, great. Like, think we need to talk about me. We've covered that.
On the football team, you mentioned we're just working with Greg Schiano a little bit this last couple months. What do you respect about his coaching style? Is there one, where would you start, when you think about what he brings to a team?
A lot.
Will he be calling offensive plays this year?
But collectively, we'll do what we think's best. And I think right now, there's no games right now on our schedule, so I'm not worried about a lot of other things this minute.
Obviously, a handful of players that are already on your roster. Do you think that would ease the transition for Greg to go from Ohio State the last few years to you guys?
A handful of players.
Is the style of defense that you coached at Ohio State something that would translate to the level you guys are at?
Yeah, and we're going to try to do the best that we can, be as competitive as we can this year, period. Whatever that is.
Did you first meet Greg when Steve was at Rutgers? Or when did you first meet?
Yeah, Greg's been a coach in a long time. We've met several times prior to that.
Bill, are there any books about football that you particularly like?
A lot of them.
Anything in particular?
There are different points of emphasis and written at different times, so there's a lot of good ones.
Anything to go on a summer reading list?
There's plenty of them. I have to take my personal favorite as football scouting methods. I'm a little partial on that.
There's a little bit of a bias there.
There's a lot of great books out there. Some authored by people at this table as well. So there's some authors in our presence.
Check out that book Zolak co-wrote. You got to check out that book Zolak co-wrote.
Final question, guys?
All right, see you in Foxborough.